Hey there, my name is Russ Ward, and this presentation is going to be an intro to vibe coding. A lot of people have been talking about vibe coding recently, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into exactly what it is, what it's not, the main players in the vibe coding arena, and I'm going to show you some examples of what I've done with vibe coding and why I'm a credible person to listen to. So before we begin, let me just tell you a little bit about myself. I promise I'm not going to go overboard. I'm not one of these bro marketers who's going to try and sell you something. I just want you to believe that I know what I'm talking about. So this is me. I'll put a link to this below if you want to check me out. My name is Russ Ward. I go by the Lead King. I've been in business now since about 2018. If you go to this page, you'll see all the cool things I've done. I've had a top-rated podcast on Apple. I've authored a couple of books that have been published. I've been a public speaker. I've won some awards at high level. I actually have a link to my vibe coding projects here if you'd like to see it. I've been endorsed by Mr. Wonderful. Yes, if you check the date, that is predating AI, and that is a real testimonial. And then I have a whole bunch of proof that I know what I'm doing. So if you want to check me out, there's a link below. You can do all the research you want on me to see if I'm credible or not. Now, let's check out my vibe coding projects. So what I did was I used a program called Claude Code to build web apps and actually an Apple app and a Google Chrome extension. So I made a real estate investor deal finding tool. I made a Vapey high-level bridge. Basically what that does is it sets up voice AI agents and connects it to high level. Very cool. I made a car dealership KPI dashboard. What it does is it tracks all of the key metrics for the car dealerships that we work with. I made another one that is a football simulation for a game that I play with my daughter. A hope bot that helps you through some tough times. It prays with you and encourages you. I noticed that I couldn't find really good podcasts, so I made myself a podcast finder. I made an iOS app for my daughter's business. She is a health and fitness coach, and so I made her an app to coach her clients with. And then finally, most recently, I made a Facebook Messenger CRM Chrome extension, and I'm going to show you a couple of these things. I'm not going to get too deep because I do want to get to the presentation. However, this is the Chrome extension I made. So you can see this looks like a normal pipeline. And what you can do is you can edit it. You can edit all the different steps in the pipeline, and you can move your leads through this. Now, how do we get these leads? Well, in Facebook Messenger, you have all these people in here, and a lot of people do prospecting and sales through Facebook Messenger. I have a little thing that pops up over here that allows you to click on where you want them to be in the pipeline, any tags you want to add, any notes you want to add. You can add their contact details, and then everything that you add kicks them back over into this pipeline. And even cooler than that is once you add them to your Facebook Messenger pipeline, it also kicks them over to high level. So you can see they're all over here. Now, one really cool thing about this is let's just say that you have a tag or add a new tag here. You could add this tag. It would automatically kick into high level over here. And what it would do from here is it would trigger a workflow. Maybe you want somebody to be on a flow of text messages, emails, or whatever. It will do that for you. So I built that Chrome extension for myself, but I also built it for people who like to use Facebook Messenger for prospecting. Now, this is something fun that I made. This was the first thing I ever made with vibe coding. This is what's called Whisk Cheat Code. And basically, it is an online text-based simulation game where you have a football team versus another football team. And I made some tools on here that will do a defensive game planning, offensive game planning. It'll give you advice at halftime on how to win. It'll give you post-game analysis. It'll actually evaluate your recruits, and I have some training videos in there. I actually sell this for $7 a month, and I have about 20 people paying for it already, which is pretty cool. This is what I call Lead King Tools. This is just basically a repository of where I put all the cool things that I make for myself internally that I share with my friends. So this thing here is called a Vapey GHL Bridge. Basically what it does is you put some information in here, and it sets up a voice AI bot, completely automated, and it sets it up in Vapey, which is the voice AI provider that I use, and it sets it up in high level. So literally one click of a button and it's set up and it's ready to make phone calls. Very cool. This is a hope bot. A hope bot is something that I wish I would have had when I feel like I didn't want to live anymore. It'll let you talk to a bot that will encourage you. It will give you inspiration. It will talk to you in whatever language you want to speak. It will reference whatever faith you are. It will reference your religious text. And then what I did was I even made it so you can make widgets for this thing that can go on a church website or a community website. This is all just kind of a way of me giving back to the world after I went through some very difficult times, and I would like to help other people through this, so I made that to help others. This is the dashboard I made for the car industry, the car sales industry. So if we go to the back end of this, the admin area, you're going to see that these are all the different car dealerships that we're working with. And if we log into them, let's just say, go to this one. You can pick the dealership, and all the leads go into a Google Sheet in different ways, and then we pull it in from there. So let's say we click on these dates, we click year to date. It's going to show us all the new leads, the phone appointments, the dealer appointments, the live transfers, the credit apps, and then the percentage of new leads that came in that actually sent us a message back. And then down here we have some charts, and down here we have a rolling recurring of all the most recent activity, color coded by what they did. So we have this set up for all of our clients. Every time somebody new comes in, we set them up with a dashboard like this. This is part of our value stack. And then we also have this button here to update alerts. What this does is this gives us the ability to alert anybody at the dealership that something happened, one of these key metrics. And you just do that with one click of a button. This thing over here is called Pipeline Clarity. I made it for my girlfriend. She is a mortgage loan officer. She has ADD. It's really hard for her to focus. So I had her upload her contacts into this thing, and it tells her this is the thing that you need to do most. So green means, hey, this is ready to close. These ones need attention. And blocked down here means there's just too much stuff going on with them. Don't focus on them. So to make it even easier for her, I have this thing called focus mode. It shows her exactly what to do right now, which will be the most important thing to make money. There's a whole bunch of other things this thing does, but that's the most important aspect of it. This is something I'm very proud of. I made this app called Hopefully Healed for my daughter. She is a fitness and nutrition coach. And this is like a two-way app where she can talk to her clients, they can talk to her, she can build them meal plans, she can build them workouts, she can send them weekly evaluations, they can upload their progress pictures, they can even take a picture of their food, and it will pull all the metrics in there of the different macros for the food. It's super cool. It took me about a week to make this using Claude Code and uploading it to Apple and getting approved, but she loves it, her clients love it. I'm very proud of that one. This is a website that I made with Claude Code. This is also part of the car dealership thing that I was working on. And one thing that we do is another part of what I made is we have these pop-ups that go on websites, and I'll show you one here. And on the website, this is something called Spin to Win. So if you give us your name, your email, and your phone number, you can spin to win $750 off a car. You can win $100 off. You could lose, right? And so this is just another thing that we offer to our clients, and I have all these different demos of them on here. And Claude Code actually made this website for me in about 5 minutes. And then finally, is another website I made, again for my girlfriend who's the mortgage loan officer. This is a specific partnership she has with teachers in our county, and it made it really nice, very simple, very clean. They kind of go through this little survey. It doesn't even feel like a survey. And then at the end of it, they hit this button here, give their information, and sends all the level to high level and starts them on a campaign that will actually call them with an AI voice bot. It will actually send them messages. So these are my vibe coding projects. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about who I am, show you a little bit about the things I did. And I want you to believe me when I tell you that anybody can do this. I had no coding experience whatsoever, and I got started. So let's get back to the presentation. This is called Intro to Vibe Coding, how to build real software without writing code, a clear-eyed look at the tools, the evolution, and what it actually costs. So we're going to go on here to the second slide. So what is vibe coding? Vibe coding is the practice of directing AI code to write code for you in plain English while you stay focused on the product, the user, and the outcome. The term was coined by a researcher, and I don't even know how to say this guy's name, Andrej Karpathy, in early 2025. The idea is simple but powerful. Bring the vision, the AI brings the typing and the code. You don't need to memorize syntax or wrestle with frameworks. You need to know what you want to build and be able to communicate it clearly. And from what I've experienced, that is the most important thing, to be able to communicate it clearly, because if you can't do that, then it can't build it for you. So basically how this works is I like to liken it to being a director. A movie director doesn't operate the camera. They don't hold the boom mic. They don't edit the footage. They don't write any of it. They have a vision. They direct skilled people to do it. Vibe coding is exactly the same. You're the director. AI is the entire crew. Your job is to not know every technical detail. Your job is to know what you want and how to communicate it clearly. The AI handles how, you own what and why. That's the entire shift in a single sentence. A few more examples that work that are analogies. An architect and his construction crew. The architect builds the vision, the crew builds it. A head chef and a kitchen staff, the head chef designs the menu, they cook the food. General contractor and subcontractors, you manage the project, they swing the hammers. I'm sure you're starting to get it now. So what vibe coding is not. It is not a type of prompt and walk away. There's no magic button. Every real product requires iteration, judgment, and review. It's not a replacement for thinking. The AI is actually brilliant, but it is not a mind reader. Vague thinking produces vague software. And it's not a way to skip knowing your product. You still need to understand what you're building, who it's for, and how it should behave. Garbage prompts produce garbage software. The AI amplifies your clarity, not your confusion. So this is kind of the history of how this thing has gone down. Traditional coding was requiring you to learn years of syntax, frameworks, and tooling before you could even ship anything real. The skill was in memorization, debugging, and the ability to read documentation at 2 a.m. With vibe coding, you describe what you want, the AI writes the code, you review and iterate, the skill becomes clear thinking and communication. Remember, I keep saying that over and over because that is the most important part of this. You don't have to memorize anything. Now, who is vibe coding for? Well, to be honest with you, it could be for anybody. I have a 14-year-old daughter, and I showed this to her, and she jumped in and started building things right away just because it was fun. But in a more business sense, founders who have product ideas but no engineering team, vibe coding lets you build your first version without a co-founder who codes. Agency owners who want to produce services, build client tools, or launch recurring revenue without hiring full-time developers, domain experts. They know exactly what tool the industry needs, but they couldn't build it before. Now they can. And then operators, people who operate any kind of business, they keep hitting, we need a developer for that. Vibe coding removes that bottleneck permanently. This is not for people who want to become traditional software engineers. That's a completely different path. So what can you actually build? You can build full SaaS products, billing, authentication, dashboards, the whole stack, internal tools, middleware between platforms, ops, dashboards, admin panels, kind of like the Vapey high-level bridge that I built. I was finding that it was taking me like more than an hour to set up a connection between Vapey and high-level. So I created a middle software internal tool that put in a few things, boom, hit a button, it's all set up. You can build AI-powered apps. They integrate with OpenAI, Anthropic, 11 Labs, and real workflows. You can build automation systems, connecting APIs, webhooks, databases to remove the manual work. And you can even create mobile apps, native iOS, Android apps, not just wrappers. You can see I built one myself for my daughter. Real production software, not toys, not demos. You actually build the real stuff that you used to have to wait months or years for, or wait for somebody to build that you paid for. So what makes a good vibe coder? A good vibe coder is someone who's a clear thinker. Can you explain what you want in plain language without contradicting themselves mid-prompt? A patient iterator, willing to refine, test, improve instead of expecting one-shot perfection every time. Guys, I'll tell you that this was the hardest part for me. I wanted to write a prompt. I wanted my software to be perfect, and it wasn't ever like that. There's always a problem that comes up, and you just have to be very patient while you solve it. You need to be a specific communicator. A green submit button at the bottom right, not make it look better. Product-minded. You think about the user, the flow, and the outcome before thinking about the code. You read the output, actually checks what the AI produced instead of blindly trusting it and moving on. The AI can only be as good as the input you give. It's brilliant, it's phenomenal, but you have to give it good information. And then you need to be comfortable with being wrong. Changes come up along the way, and sometimes your thinking just isn't going to work. You have to ask the AI, hey, what's going on here? Why is this not working? More good vibe coder traits. You need to know your stack. What are you working with? What do you want to work with? It breaks big features into small pieces. So this is a big one. A lot of people have a great big vision. I know I did it first, and I wanted to type in, oh, this is exactly what I want it to do, and make it do that. And it slowed me down a bit. It's like, look, let's build the basics. Let's add on features as we go. Very important to do that, or else you're going to have a big blob. It's going to have a lot of problems. And it's going to be really hard to fix it. You test it as you build. Kind of gets back to the last thing. Every step you make, you test it, cool, add something new. You need to be able to read error messages. I didn't know how to do that at first. But once I started reading error messages, like, oh, that's why it doesn't work. And then the AI can go ahead and fix it. And you need to keep track of what works, what broke, how it got fixed, and you build kind of a personal playbook. And what I mean by that is you kind of pick up on things as you go. You start to see patterns in how things happen. And if you keep some notes on that, it makes your job a lot easier as a vibe coder. So what makes someone a bad vibe coder? That would be vague prompts. Make it better. Fix the thing. They go nowhere. The AI can only work with what you give it. Magical thinking. Assuming that the AI knows what you meant, even though it doesn't. It knows what you said. A bad vibe coder won't read the output. It just keeps prompting until something looks right. No review, no learning, no progress. Somebody who has no plan. Starts building without thinking about what they actually want, ends up with somewhere nobody wanted to go. And then scope creep, tries to add 12 features in one prompt, then wonders why it broke. Complexity compounds quickly, and you'll find that whenever you start adding features. You really should only be adding one feature at a time outside the initial build, and then you can test them along the way. Now, the traits that will cost you real money. Debug looping. Debug looping is asking the AI to fix the same thing 10 different ways instead of stepping back and thinking clearly about the actual problem. Rebuilding what works. Tearing down working code because something nearby broke. Surgical fixes actually beat scorched earth every time. What I mean by that is I've actually experienced where something wasn't working. I'm like, you know what? Delete the whole thing and start over. The AI highly recommended I didn't do that. It says, let's focus, let's fix it. And that actually does work best. Prompt gambling, rewording the same broken request over and over, hoping for a different result. That's actually another version of a different insanity. You know that won't work in real life, and it doesn't work in vibe coding either. And then no version control. You lose hours of work because nothing was committed to GitHub. GitHub is where we upload our files. So let's just say you work for hours and you don't save anything. You lost it all. These habits don't just slow you down. They turn $20 a month into a $200 a month headache minimum. This is the mental model that wins. You are not using AI to code. You are managing a team of one infinitely fast, infinitely patient, occasionally dumb developer. You set the vision, you communicate clearly, you review the work, you iterate without having an ego. The winners treat vibe coding like a craft. They direct, they review, they iterate, and they get better with every project. The losers treat it like a slot machine. Pull the lever, hope for the best, blame the tool when it doesn't play out. Guys, it doesn't work like that. You really have to think this stuff through, and when you do, you will get amazing results. Now, here's the evolution of how this actually happened, how we got to vibe coding. The path to vibe coding didn't happen overnight. It actually unfolded across 5 distinct stages over the last decade, each one dramatically lowering the barrier to building software. Where we are right now is the middle of the biggest leap of all. Understanding the stages helps you understand why the tools are what they are and where they're headed. So 5 stages, 2015 to 2025. And actually we're in 2026 now, but it's kind of a carry on from 2025. So stage 1 was traditional coding, pre-2022. Every line written by hand, years of learning before anything shipped. Developers were $75 to $200 an hour. You could not write code without being professionally trained. Step 2 was AI autocomplete. GitHub launches something called Copilot. It was basically you would write code as a coder who was fully trained, but it would start completing your sentences, kind of like autocomplete on a phone keyboard, kind of like that, but you still had to know what you were doing. Stage 3 was conversational coding. ChatGPT and Claude would write functions in a chat window, copy and paste in your editor, but it still just didn't work right. Stage 4 was AI app builders, things like Lovable, Bolt, V0, Replit. You type a prompt, get a working app in minutes. No coders can ship for the first time. But again, it just still wasn't where it needed to be. And now finally, in stage 5, we have AI coding agents. Claude Code, Cursor, Windsurf, full code base ownership, production grade output, any stack, any infrastructure. So now we're in stage 5. So these are just all the different stages. Again, the autocomplete era was changing the game because it was like autocomplete for a keyboard on a phone. That was how it was for coders. The first crack in the wall was ChatGPT and Claude arrived with the ability to write entire functions, scripts, and modules in a plain conversation. No coders could ship for the first time with Lovable. Lovable was huge. People could just go type in one prompt and boom, 90 seconds later, they would have a working app. Now, we're going to get into why sometimes that's good, why sometimes that's bad, but it was possible for the first time in 2024. And then in 2025, production grade, any stack, your code started happening. My personal favorite is Claude Code. There's a lot of options out there, but I really, really like using Claude Code because I can just talk to it like a human, very logically, and it will come back and it will sometimes even push back on me, and it will say to me, that might not be the best way to go with this. And if I trust it and I follow the directions, I usually get a better result. So there's three main paths today. Well, at least the three main that I focus on and the people that I've worked with focus on. For non-technical builders, the choice usually comes down to three tools: Lovable, Claude Code, and more recently, within the last couple of weeks, GoHighLevel GHL AI Studio. They look similar from the outside. You type what you want, you get something built, but they are completely different in practice. Different ceilings, different costs, different jobs, and different leverage. Now let's break down each one. You have Lovable, Claude Code, and GHL AI Studio. Oops, didn't mean to do. All right, my apologies. This is my first webinar I've done in a long time. Obviously, I am not too skilled at this, but I assure you I am much better at vibe coding than I am making webinars. All right, so let's begin with, I'm not trying to do that again, Lovable. Lovable is a web-based AI app builder at lovable.dev. You type what you want, you get a working app live in your browser, no setup, no terminal, no GitHub required to get started. It picks a stack for you. It picks React, Vite, Tailwind, Supabase, all chosen and configured automatically by Lovable. It's hosted in their infrastructure. Your app gets a live URL instantly, no deployment headaches. It's visual plus chat iteration. What's that mean? It means you see changes in real time, you chat to refine. You think Figma meets ChatGPT meets Vercel all in one tab. All right, so next we're going to talk about Lovable strengths. It's the fastest first demo, 90 seconds from prompt to a working app in your browser. Nothing even comes close for raw speed out of the gate. Zero setup required, no terminal, no GitHub, no environmental variables. Open a tab and start building immediately. It's a real-time visual editor. You see every change that happens, great for design, iteration, and client-facing demos. It's great for landing pages, simple forms, concept demos, and marketing pages where Lovable genuinely shines. Genuinely impressive in the first 10 minutes. The ceiling comes later. Now, Lovable does have some limits. You're locked into one tech stack. You're going to use React, Vite, Tailwind, Supabase always. You cannot swap any of it out. There's no native mobile. You cannot build iOS or Android apps, web apps only. There's no complex backend. Cannot build middleware, complex integrations, or multi-tenant SaaS with custom domains. And debugging gets messy fast. The more complex your project, the more the AI agent gets confused and the more credits you burn chasing its tail. Lovable hits a hard ceiling once your project gets ambitious. The first 10 minutes are great. The next 10 weeks are where it starts to break down. Now, what is Claude Code? Claude Code is a terminal-based AI coding agent you install directly on your Mac or your PC. It reads, writes, and edits files directly in your project folder on your computer, like having a senior developer working inside your code base. You choose everything. You choose your tech stack. You pick your stack, your database, your host, and you deploy the path. Nothing is decided for you. Now, guys, that can seem daunting right there, because who knows what this stuff is if they've never done it before, right? I had no idea what that was. So literally all I did was ask Claude, hey, what do you recommend? And I went with what it recommended. You own everything. Your code lives on your machine in your GitHub. Claude owns nothing. And it works like a real developer. It follows your direction, edits files surgically, and explains what it's doing. No black box. So these are Claude Code's strengths. Any stack, any language, Flask, Node, Python, plain HTML, native React, native mobile, Claude Code works in whatever you choose. Real integration, Stripe, Twilio, GHL, Vapey, custom webhooks, third-party APIs, the full ecosystem is within reach. This one's really important, guys. Surgical debugging. You fix one bug without having to break 5 others. Claude Code can isolate a problem with precision that app builders can't match. And your infrastructure. You deploy on Render, Vercel, AWS, wherever you want it. No platform lock ever. You can use whatever you want. Now, this is the trade-off. The first 10 minutes, Claude Code has a steeper entry path than Lovable. You'll need to install Node, you need to learn a few basic terminal commands, and you need to set up your own GitHub and your hosting. It's basically where you're going to push your files to. There's there's less hand-holding. There's no visual editor. There's no instant live URL. The setup takes an hour the first time, not 90 seconds. Now, the reward is you have no ceiling. Once you're past setup, the ceiling disappears. You can build anything. You can scale anything. You own everything. Most people who quit Claude Code quit at the setup stage. That 1 hour of friction is the price of admission to a completely different class of tool. The first hour is the hardest. Every hour after that gets easier and much more powerful. So what is GHL AI Studio? For those that don't know, GHL stands for GoHighLevel. It is the primary tool that I use in my business. It's the primary tool many others use in their own businesses. And the reason I bring it up is because it's become very popular in the community that follows me recently. They just released this about a week and a half ago. It's in the beta stages, but it has a lot of potential, very much like Lovable. So GHL Studio is a vibe coding tool built directly into GoHighLevel, currently available in labs, which means it's in beta, free to use on every paid GHL plan. That's going to be temporary. They're eventually going to charge for this. And it lets you describe what you want, get a website, a funnel, an interactive page without leaving the platform. It lives inside GHL, no extra subscription, no separate login. It's already on the platform you're using every day. Now, this is a little bit different than Claude Code. The stack is invisible. What's that mean? GHL picks the stack for you, the tech stack. But unlike Lovable, you don't need to think about it at all. You don't even talk about it. And it's the newest entry, the most recently launched tool in the vibe coding space and built with a very specific job in mind. Now, what are the strengths of AI Studio from GoHighLevel? Zero friction integration. It's already inside GoHighLevel. No extra subscription, no separate login, no migration headaches. Forms. Contacts automatically. Forms you build auto connect to your GHL contacts. No Zapier, no manual mapping. Calendars and bookings are automatically, and workflows can fire automatically from this. For agencies already running GoHighLevel, this is a zero friction integration. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, I've been playing with it. There is some friction, and the friction is it's, again, a beta tool. They're still working on making it better, and there are some things that don't work sometimes. But like everything HighLevel makes, it starts out like this, and it gets better over time, and I have no reason to think that it won't be amazing at some point. Where GHL AI Studios has limits. It's currently in beta. Expect bugs, timeouts, click reentry moments. This is a lab stage software. Powerful, but not yet production stable. It's locked to the GHL ecosystem. You can't build standalone SaaS. You can't build custom databases or anything that needs to live outside of GHL infrastructure. I have seen some chatter in the HighLevel group talking about how it's going to connect to other platforms. It's going to connect to Supabase, other databases, and like I said, with HighLevel, they always make it better, so I expect this to change. There's no complex backends, no custom API logic, no middleware, no multi-tenant architecture. This is a pages and funnels tool, not a full stack builder at this point, and pricing is not fully defined. Post-labs pricing will be transparent pass-through token costs, but the exact rates aren't locked in. So another thing is you can't build multiple apps. You can't white label. You can't migrate your projects over to GHL. Very, very basic at this point, but I do expect it will get better over time. What GHL AI Studio is great for right now, it's great for client landing pages, pages that connect directly to your existing GHL workflows, built in minutes, live. And I'm talking like you could say, make me the greatest landscaping website right this minute, and it will have that sucker done in like 3 minutes. It has lead capture funnels. It has booking pages. It has quick client prototypes. You can literally build beautiful, amazing demos of pretty much anything you want right in GHL AI Studio, and it's ready in moments. So as a test case, what you could say is, I want to go out and find every single landscaper in the Tampa Bay area that doesn't have a website. And then I could go into AI Studio and I could make a website that is better than anything they've ever seen in their life. And I could show them a demo and I could sell that to them. And you could probably make, I don't know, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 a day just going out and showing demos and selling those demos. That's what it's excellent at right now. Now, this is what GHL AI Studio is not for. It's not for anything you want to sell as a standalone SaaS product, anything that needs custom backend or logic or API integrations, anything that has to live outside of GHL on its own infrastructure, anything mission critical where lab stage bugs would hurt your business. You can't build mobile apps on iOS or Android. You can't make Chrome extensions, and it's not good for tools you want to white label and resell as your own product. The one-line test: if what you're building needs to exist out GHL, ecosystem, GHL AI Studio is the wrong tool. That's not criticism, it's clarity. Every tool has a job. This one's job is very specific. So where GHL AI Studio is heading, expect rapid expansion over the next 12 to 24 months. The current Labs AI Studio path will likely disappear into the main GHL UI as a native feature. It's going to have workflow generation. Describe what you want to automate. GHL will build it. CRM customization, add a custom field for purchase history done in plain English. Describe it as default. Natural language becomes the primary way to operate inside GHL entirely. Ever since high level has been a thing, you've had to kind of understand the tech stack, how it works, practice, read up on it, read the documentation, all nerdy type tech code things that people typically don't like to do unless they're a coder. You've had to do that to really get high level to work well. In the future, it seems they're trending in the direction where you'll be able to go inside and say, make this workflow, make this funnel, make this do that. And it's going to do that. And it's probably going to be centered around how GHL's AI Studio does it. GHL isn't building AI Studio to monetize AI directly. They're building it to make GHL impossible to leave. And that's exactly what's happening. So this is the competitive picture. GHL AI Studio will displace Lovable inside the GHL ecosystem. Why pay $25 a month extra for less capacity and no native integration? But Lovable still has a real business outside GHL. Claude Code is a different category entirely. It doesn't compete with either. It complements both. So if you look at the circles, you have GHL AI Studio. It's free, native, all-in-one. You have Lovable, a standalone web app focus, and you have Claude Code, unlimited scaling and control. And they kind of overlap a little bit. So 3 tools, 3 jobs. GHL AI Studio, client work that lives inside GHL, ecosystem, landing pages, funnels, booking flows, lead capture, already connected to everything. Lovable, you can make throwaway demos. And that's not to disrespect Lovable. It's an amazing platform. You can build really cool stuff on it. But what I mean by a throwaway demo is you can make a demo, show it to somebody in 90 seconds, get their commitment, show them how cool it is, and then you start building the real thing on whatever platform you want. It's fast first impressions with minimal commitment. And then Claude Code is building real products you want to own, scale, and sell. Custom integrations, multi-tenant SaaS, mobile apps, anything you'll iterate on for years. Smart builders use all 3. The moat is not picking the right tool. It's knowing which tool to use for each moment. Now let's talk about pricing. The feature comparison is one thing. The pricing comparison is where the real story lives. Most people make the wrong choice here, not because they're careless, but because the pricing structures are designed to look simple while hiding the actual cost. This is where you need to pay close attention. Lovable pricing on the surface. They have a free plan, and you get 30 credits, and you can use maximum of 5 a day. They have a pro plan for $25 a month. You get 100 credits. Business is 50 a month. You get 100 plus. You can have teams. And you have enterprise where you have to contact sales. Looks reasonable. 25 a month for 100 credits sounds good. It's not until you understand what a credit actually buys you that the real math becomes clear. What a Lovable credit actually buys you is an initial app infrastructure. What that means is, hey, Lovable, build me this thing. That's going to be 2 credits. A simple UI tweak is change that button color, half a credit. New page with new logic, 5 more credits. Authflow, a complex feature that, like Authenticate, it's going to be 8 credits, and then a chat message. Every single time you send Lovable a message is a credit. They also have a try to fix button, which is free. That's what is called Lovable's pressure release valve. Basically, everything else adds up fast. The real cost to build one moderately complex app with Lovable. So the initial scaffolding, 2 to 3 credits, 5 to 6 pages, 15 to 20 credits, authentication flow, 3 to 5 credits, database and schema integration, 5 to 10 credits, styling and polish, 10 to 15, and then bug fixes. Wait, that's not what I meant, 20 to 40 credits. So you can really pump out 60 to 100 credits to ship one app. You just burned your entire monthly pro plan and you've only built one thing. And this is the hidden trap with Lovable. Debugging loops. The AI gets confused. You ask it to fix, it breaks something else. You ask it to fix that, it reintroduces the original bug. So each round trip costs 1 to 3 credits. Real users consistently report burning 50 to 70% of their monthly credits on debug loops alone, not on building features, but on chasing the AI in circles. You're paying for the privilege of being slowed down. And then this is the top up tags. Run out of credits, it's going to be $15 for 50 more credits. That's 30 cents per credit. One complex feature that can cost you $1.50 in a single prompt. And the pattern is the faster you go, the more you pay. The harder you project, the more you pay. The harder your project, the more you pay. The more you debug, the more you pay. Lovable's credit model is not neutral. It is structurally designed to cost more the more you push the tool. Real world Lovable monthly cost. A light user, one simple project per month, $25. Building one real SaaS product, $25 to $70 a month with top-ups. Multiple projects, $50 to $200 a month with constant top-ups. And then you have a complex project. You hit the ceiling, you pay anyway, and the ceiling doesn't move. Lovable is incentivized to make iteration cost more. You are punished for learning. That's not a bug. That's part of the business model. Now, GHL AI Studio pricing. Right now it's free. During the labs phase, GHL AI Studio costs nothing on any GHL paid plan. After the launch, post-labs, pricing will include a free tier, which includes tokens plus pass-through pricing for overage usage. Pass-through means GHL is not marking up the AI cost. You pay for raw API rates for usage above the limit, no credit system, no top-ups, no premium tier locking features. And if you're already on GHL, this will be the cheapest vibe coding tool on the market by a significant margin. And what you will know about this is HighLevel has always taken input from the community, and much of the time they've come back and made what the community asked for. One thing that we consistently ask for is the ability to bring our own API tokens. We want to bring in ChatGPT from OpenAI. We want to bring our Anthropic API key, and I anticipate that HighLevel will allow us to do that. Now, Claude Code pricing. This is the simple version. Pro is $20 a month and includes Claude Code. Best for trying the tool, light building, and learning the workflow. You could do one to two small projects a month. Max is 5 times the limit in terms of tokens. It's $100 a month, 5 times the capacity of Pro for agency operators, freelance builders, and side project hustlers working 2 to 4 hours a day. And then you have the Max plan. It's 20 times Pro, $200 a month, 20 times the capacity for full-time builders shipping multiple products daily. You rarely hit limits even at scale. It's a flat fee, no credits, no top-ups, no per action meter. You pay once, you build as much as you want within a reasonable range, and that's what I'm talking about, the Max plan. These other plans, if you do run out, it's going to prompt you to move up to the next one. So Claude Pro at $20 a month. This is where most people should begin. Claude Pro includes the full Claude chat app on Claude AI and Claude Code in your terminal, both in one plan. You get roughly 45 messages every 4 hours. Covers 1 to 2 small projects per month comfortably. Use it to learn the terminal workflow, build your first product, and understand what Claude Code can do before committing to a higher tier. Claude Max 5X, best for serious builders. 2 to 4 hours a day of work. This is your tier. It includes 5x the capacity of Pro plus higher priority access during peak times, meaning less rate limiting when you're on a roll. This is the right plan for agency operators, freelance builders, and side project hustlers. At this stage of usage, equivalent API calls would run $130 to $260 per month. You're paying $100 flat. The math works comfortably in your favor. And then you have the Claude Max 20X program, best for full-time builders, agency owners shipping multiple products, builders working daily across 8 more active projects, full-time operators who live inside Claude Code. This tier gives you 20x the capacity of Pro, and most people at this level rarely hit limits. Now, here's the crazy thing about the the Max plan. Here's the number that matters most. Equivalent API usage at this volume would cost $1,500 to $3,600 per month. The Max 20x plan is $200 flat. $200 versus $36.50. The math is not even close. And that $36.50 is basically comparable to Lovable. If you did the same thing with Lovable, and again, it's capped off. You can't really build the same stuff on Lovable, but if you used a comparable amount of credits on Lovable, you would pay $3,650 approximately. So this is the pricing comparison that matters. GHL AI Studio, free with labs, and free, approximately free after. It's in the GHL ecosystem. Lovable Pro, $25 a month, 1 real project. Claude Pro, $20 a month, 1 to 2 projects. Lovable Business plus top-ups, $200 to $400 a month, still hits a wall. And then you have Claude Max 20X, $200 a month, no ceiling. So it's the same money, completely different leverage at $200 a month. Lovable Business still has limits. Claude Max 20X pretty much doesn't. And when I say pretty much, I mean if you really, really maxed it out, you you would hit a limit, but I never have. And I use the Claude 20X plan, and I've never even come close to the limit. So this is the business model difference. Lovable does AI actions and revenue. To be honest with you, I don't even know what that little diagram means. I was just kind of trying to figure it out as I was talking. It's per AI action. More usage equals more revenue for Lovable. It has relentless iteration and debugging is punished. Anthropic Claude, flat fee, usage is your business, rewarded for iteration and learning. GHL AI Studio, completely different because it's in beta and it's free. It's near free. Retention, not revenue. They want to keep you on the platform. Rewarded for staying in the ecosystem. The pricing model tells you whose side the tool is on. Anthropic and GHL both benefit when you succeed. More usage from Claude means a stickier subscriber. More usage from GHL AI Studio means a user who never leaves. Lovable benefits when you struggle. So when to use each tool. GHL AI Studio, client landing pages, lead funnels, and booking flows that need to be connected directly to your GHL workflows. Use it when integration speed is the value. Lovable for standalone web prototypes, throwaway demos, and anything outside the GHL world where you need a visual result in 90 seconds. And then Claude Code, products you want to own and scale. Custom iterations, multi-tenant SaaS, mobile apps, anything you can iterate for months or years. So this is the mindset shift. Vibe coding is not easy mode for software. It's just a different skill. Clear thinking, structured communication, product instincts, and the patience to iterate without ego. What people think it requires. Technical background, coding knowledge, understanding of frameworks and databases. That's not true. What it actually requires is the ability to think clearly, communicate specifically, and stay patient through iteration. These are learnable skills. I learned them, and I'm not a patient person at all. You can ask anybody who knows me. I'm one of the least patient people in the world, yet I learned patience to make Claude Code work and build things that I wanted. The people winning with vibe coding are not the ones who pick the easiest tool. They are the ones who pick the right tool for each job and learn to direct it with precision. Here's the bottom line. Vibe coding is here to stay. The tools will only get better, faster, and more accessible. The question is not whether you use them. It's which one and when. GHL AI Studio wins inside the ecosystem. For client work that lives inside GHL, there's not going to be a better tool. Free, integrated, and improving rapidly. Lovable is actually fading. Its platform native builders are taking over its territory from below. Claude Code is taking it from above. Its lane is narrowing. Claude Code wins for ambition. Anything ambitious, independent, or meant to scale, Claude Code is the right call. No ceiling, flat prices, full ownership. So you pick the tool that matches the job, not the one that matches your own comfort zone. And that is it, guys. I wanted to go through what vibe coding was, what it is, and what the main three players that I work with are. I know there's others out there. I know people will say, you didn't think of this one or this one or this one. These are the three main ones that I've used, that I've looked at, and the people that I've worked with have looked at. It may sound like I'm bashing Lovable a bit, and I kind of am, because you are actually, it seems to be punished for the more ambitious you get, the more tries you make to make it better. And obviously from the presentation, my choice is Claude Code, because that's what I build all my things on, because there literally is no limit whatsoever. Now, I would not be a good marketer if I didn't make you an offer at the end of a presentation. And my offer at the end of this presentation is going to be this. I have a school group, and I'm going to show it to you. It's called Russ Ward's AI Mastermind. And you can see I currently have 435 members, 17 online. And right now, if you go into the classroom, you're going to see everything in there is what I've built for building AI messenger bots, AI voice, snapshots, unlimited high-level accounts, agency growth bonuses. I have coaching calls, white label demo bots. I have a bunch of courses. I have an AI audit workshop. I even have an AI workshop on how to write your own book and get it published. All this stuff is awesome, really cool stuff. People have made tons and tons of AI bots and infrastructures with this stuff, and they made a lot of money as well. But where I'm heading with this is I'm going to start a completely new module in here on vibe coding. And I'm going to have a weekly workshop. I'm going to have a course, like a little classroom area where I actually show you, this is how you install it. This is how you prompt it. This is how you get it to build an iOS app on the Apple Store. This is how to build a Chrome extension. These are all the different steps you need. I am going to include all the links you need for everything. I'm going to include step-by-step videos on how to do it. And I know this stuff's all out there. It's all on YouTube. But the reason why you want to do it with me is because I actually have been in the AI game since it started. This thing over here, GHL Zapier Chat GPT bot setup, this is the first AI bot that I ever built in my life. It's a monstrosity that I can't even figure out how to fix anymore if it breaks. That's how big it is. And I've been at this since the beginning. So I'm kind of ahead of the curve when it comes to these things. And I'm also very approachable. I explain things very well. And as you can see here in my community, I post a lot of stuff. And when somebody posts and replies to me, I get back to them very quickly. So if you want to learn vibe coding in the future, what I recommend is, even though I don't have it in here yet, go to my school group, join the school group. It's free to join. And at some point in the future, probably within the next couple of weeks, I am going to have a new module on vibe coding, and I'm going to have a new calendar with all the trainings that we're going to do. We're going to do it live. I'm going to have Ask Me Anything, where I basically solve all your problems. And if you're somebody who wants to learn to vibe code, if you're somebody who wants to produce software that you use for yourself, you can sell to others, this is where you're going to want to be. So before we even get started, I just encourage you to do something that is super easy. Join my group for free. And then as soon as I have the vibe coding module launched, I'm going to make a post in the group and I'm going to send a message out to everybody so you all know that it is available. So that is my ethical bribe to you guys. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Whether you join my group or not, I hope you start vibe coding because it is the way of the future. There's no need to buy software anymore. You can just make your own. If you have any questions at all, if you would like to discuss any of this stuff with me, underneath this video, there's going to be ways to get in contact with me, schedule a call with me, links to my websites. I'm here to help you. You can ask anybody. I love to help people who are helping themselves. And most of the time, I don't have anything to sell you. If something I do sell is going to change your life, of course, I'm going to tell you about it. But if not, I'm happy to help. So thank you for your attention. I know this is a rather long video, and I look forward to seeing your success.